Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for this session. This is the Implementing Diagnostic Excellence Across Systems, the IDEAS project. And today we're going to be focusing on MeasureDX, which we'll be telling you more about. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them into the Q&A box. You'll see that at the bottom of your screen. We'll leave plenty of time at the end to answer all of your questions. And with that, we will get started. So as you all know, diagnostic safety is really a critically important area of patient safety. Diagnostic safety events contribute to preventable harm in 1 in 20 outpatient visits and many inpatient stays, up to 250,000 each year. And in fact, they're the most common root cause for medical liability claims. And for all of these reasons, healthcare organizations and clinicians need flexible and actionable and really practical resources to help support their efforts to improve diagnostic safety, which is what this project is all about. And with that, I will turn it over to my colleague, Margie Schofer from ARC, to tell you more about their diagnostic safety priorities.
Thanks, Courtney, and hello, everyone. As Courtney said, I'm Margie Schofer. I work at the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality, otherwise known as AHRQ or ARC. And improving diagnostic safety and quality is an ARC priority. And to that end, we've developed a bunch of different resources to promote diagnostic excellence. These include a series of issue briefs on different diagnostic safety topics, as well as the 3 toolkits that are the focus of this implementation and sustainment support project. 2 of the toolkits that are the subject of this project, Calibrate DX and MeasureDX, were developed for ARC by the Baylor College of Medicine. And then the patient toolkit was developed by the MedStar Health Research Institute. All of these resources were pilot tested as part of the development process to understand barriers and facilitators to use, as well as perceived impact. And then the evaluation findings were used to revise the tools. We at ARC know that in order to promote toolkit use, we ideally need to work with healthcare organizations to provide the training, implementation support, as well as support for you to continue using the resources once the implementation period has ended. And to do this, we awarded a contract to RAND with the goal of having each of these resources being implemented in at least 50 healthcare organizations across the United States. I'm really excited to be here today as part of this project and webinar to let you know how you can use MeasureDX to help you detect, analyze, and learn from diagnostic safety events. So with that, let me hand this over to Sangeeta.
Hi, everyone. I am co-leading this project on the RAND team with Courtney. So IDEAS, as Margie's alluded to, this project is really aimed at improving diagnostic safety across different settings and different users. So there are 3 resources. The Toolkit for Patients to Improve Diagnostic Safety is really focused on patient-clinician communication, and it is ideally implemented in office-based settings, in the visit encounter, and used by clinicians and their patients. MeasureDX is typically used by QI or patient safety teams at the healthcare system level, and it focuses on using existing data to measure and improve diagnostic safety in any healthcare setting. So, for example, a hospital or an ER. And then finally, our 3rd resource, Calibrate DX, is aimed at improving individual clinicians' diagnostic performance and can be used in any healthcare setting by clinicians whose scope of practice includes diagnosis. So today, we're actually going to focus very specifically on MeasureDX. So why use MeasureDX? Why should you consider using this as part of this project? As Courtney mentioned on the first slide, diagnostic error is a major contributor to patient harm. But as many of you might already know, they are very difficult to identify and measure. Also, measuring for improvement is really central to a learning health system approach, in large part because the measurement process itself is what facilitates the learning and improvement activities. Several measurement strategies around diagnostic error and improvement have already demonstrated a sort of proof of concept for use in health systems. MeasureDX was developed by experts at Baylor College of Medicine in partnership with MedStar, and it has been pilot tested with clinicians at multiple institutions. So how does MeasureDX work? As I mentioned earlier, it is designed for QI or patient safety teams in any healthcare setting, and it aims to help sites use data that you already collect in order to identify diagnostic safety events and help you learn what systems and processes could be improved. MeasureDX guides QI or patient safety teams through 4 concrete steps. First, preparing your organization for diagnostic safety measurement, so ensuring that you have the right data and processes in place. Then assessing organizational readiness, kind of writ large, for measurement, and that includes a self-assessment. Third, deciding on one of 4 specific measurement strategies that you will then implement. And then finally, using that strategy to identify, review, and analyze cases of interest. So it's a really, really concrete resource. So who can use MeasureDX? Any healthcare setting, any healthcare site, including those that are new to learning about diagnostic safety. I think we've had sites interested in implementing MeasureDX who are trying to expand their quality improvement patient safety scope, and this is one way to do it with support from our project. It's ideally implemented by QI, patient safety, risk management teams of any size who have access to patient-level data that could be used for measurement, tracking, and improvement purposes. You can focus your selected measurement strategy across an entire ambulatory clinic or hospitals or specific units like ICUs. So why think about implementing MeasureDX and participating in this project? This is a really great opportunity to improve care and minimize risk of harm by implementing innovative methods to advance diagnostic safety. Even better, it's an opportunity to implement MeasureDX with tailored support and training from our team in collaboration with our partners, IHI and Convergence Health. It is an opportunity to kind of jumpstart the assembly or strengthening of a team that has expertise in diagnostic safety at your site. Finally, there is a modest stipend to recognize and appreciate your site's participation in this overall ARC effort. So I mentioned support. So what support will we actually provide? Plenty of support to help you implement and use this resource, MeasureDX, in your practice. So that includes flexible training, really focused on the nuts and bolts of how to use MeasureDX in an efficient way that fits into existing workflows. That includes resource-specific materials, MeasureDX tip sheets. There's the opportunity to earn CE credits and ABMS-approved MOC points. We will offer tailored hands-on help, including virtual office hours with content experts, dedicated email that goes straight to our MeasureDX focused team for questions as you try to get this off the ground. Learning collaboratives with other sites who are also implementing MeasureDX. And at the end of the study, we will provide feedback on what the impact of using MeasureDX has been. So what do you need to implement MeasureDX? First, as part of this project. First, a commitment to what is essentially a 2-year effort that breaks down into 1 year of your site implementing MeasureDX, followed by a 2nd year where we work with you to help sustain use of MeasureDX at your site. Demonstration that you've got executive support for participating in this project. Identifying a champion or a lead to kind of help coordinate project activities and be a conduit to our project team. Identifying the QI or patient safety or risk management team. It really just needs to include one clinical lead and with sort of the clinical expertise and management or quality manager lead with operational expertise. And then engaging in project and data collection activities, which we will administer and oversee and have designed to be as minimally burdensome as possible. So as I mentioned, this tool has been pilot tested with clinicians at different institutions. And these are some of the quotes and feedback that participants provided at the end of that pilot test. So one pilot user said, it was very easy for me to follow regarding the materials that come with MeasureDX. I liked the fact that I could share a document with the team, which already had everything laid out, very easy to understand. Another user said, the project really became an opportunity. It put some structure around what we were going to do. It was a vehicle to get safety leadership in the hospital to come on board. So sites are really interested in using this project and the implementation support that you'll receive as a way to sort of expand something that you might already be wanting to do at your site or have already started to do at your site. That is, focus on diagnostic safety, try to identify diagnostic safety events, get higher ups engaged and interested in this. And so this quote really speaks to that opportunity. And then finally, one of the things that's very clear in the tool is you don't have to solve all the problems. Start small, pick an area. So this is related to a diagnostic practice area. Pick an area that you want to focus on, and then start with the resources that you have. Being able to fit the resource to people's local environment is huge, and MeasureDX does a good job of helping with that. One thing that we really like about MeasureDX is that it really is aimed at helping sites identify existing data and utilize existing processes to do this, so that it is easy to implement. This slide is just an overview of the timeline for our project. You'll see that for each of the 3 resources, we're implementing them on a staggered timeline, which then allows us to provide sites with the right level of support throughout. MeasureDX implementation will begin in June of 2025, so June next year. You'll see that implementation of each tool begins with a period of training. So this is sort of a time frame within which we offer flexible training to participants as they come on board. Then the period of implementation that I mentioned, followed by that period of sustainability. This webinar was focused on MeasureDX, but I do want to point out that these tools really work in different but complementary ways to improve diagnostic safety. And they can be implemented in multiple settings within a single healthcare system. So it could be efficient and valuable for an interested site to implement more than one tool, given the support that we will provide through this project. And we're really happy to talk to anyone about how to make this work for your site if you're interested. So with that, I will stop. Thank you so much for your time. We have a website that can be accessed through this QR code, and you see the URL for our website there. And you can also, please feel free to email ideasproject@rand.org at any point. That email comes directly to Dr. Gitangle and myself, and we will respond quickly. So please feel free to contact us.